We are in for a treat today. Or really, I am, because this is going to be a bit of a personal journey from Augusta to Millinocket. Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's not much that can be said now that hasn't already been said. I mean, this game is as amazing as everyone has already made it out to be. But one of the things that I've wanted to do specifically is take off from this little airport down in beautiful Augusta, Maine. This is actually the airport, the very same airport that I took a couple flying lessons out of back in 2016. Did not fly to Millinocket, but I want to go to Millinocket because Mount Katahdin, which is the largest mountain in Maine, is actually right up here. A mountain that I attempted to ascend a couple years ago. I think it was 2018. Did not quite make it to the top. So I have like some personal ties to both of these places. I want to take off from Augusta, and I want to see what the mountain looks like in this game. So we're going to go ahead and do that. The actual plane that I flew was a Beechraft Musketeer. I believe it was a model, I don't know if they call it a Model 19 or a B19. That's not in this game. From what I can tell, the closest that this game has would probably be the Cessna 152, at least in terms of the dashboard instrumentation. A lot of these other planes have a bunch of screens in them, and the Beechcraft does not have any screens in it. And neither does the 152. So that's the plane that I have been practicing with. That's the one I'm going to stick with. ATC options, I actually went with the tail number that this is the same tail number that I flew in a couple of flight lessons I took. You can look that up on the FAA registry. Okay, flight conditions. I'm not doing live weather or time just because it's dark in Maine right now, and I want to actually see what I'm doing for this run. So 9 a.m. We're gonna have some clouds, but it shouldn't be much of anything. And the Cessna 152 should be about an hour flight, I'm gonna say. Round up 10 minutes or so. This game has some long loading times, so I may end up cutting some of this out. But this should be cool. I'm playing with just an Xbox One controller, along with the keyboard and mouse, although really I haven't been using the keyboard for most of this. It seems like the only reason to use the keyboard would be to obviously interact with the instrumentation in the plane, the different levers and all that stuff. I like to actually do it with the mouse just so I can get familiar with where everything is physically located in the plane. So that's what I'm going to continue to do on this flight.
Alpha Uniform Golf Traffic Mater 1120 taking off runway 35 departure to the north.
So I've only been to this airport twice. Whether or not this is an accurate visual representation, I mean, I guess it would be as accurate as the satellite imagery. I can't say for certain if this is what exactly I remember it being. Well, I guess, yeah, that's not too far off. Let's give the game a second to stop chugging along here. It does that a little bit when it's loading everything in, but I have generally been able to run this game fairly well on high settings. So if I remember, if you'll indulge me for just a second here. If I can remember how to activate active pause. I don't have a lot of experience with the drone mode in this game. Now I do. Okay, that was easy enough. Let's actually get a better look at this. How do I go up? There we go. Okay, so I do remember this cemetery. I remember there's a cemetery when you come up the road. I'm actually just going to fully retrace my steps here. Yeah, so you come down. I don't remember what street this is, but you turn right. Let me get rid of this. Probably help if I got rid of this box. Okay. You turn right. You head up the hill. Okay, it's coming back to me. It's coming back to me now. Yeah, so you come up. It's a little bit melty in the game here, but this is where I parked the 2 times that I went. And I think this was the building I went into. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is the airport. This is the airport. Obviously it is, but yeah, no, I remember all of this now. I actually have a video that my sister took standing right about here. Standing right here. Maybe I'll see if I can overlay the video onto this so you can see, but standing right here, and I took off right where that plane is. Or rather, I started taxiing right where that plane is, headed out, and then you can see me take off on this runway here. So, a different runway than what I'll be using. For this flight. Or was it that runway? Yeah, it was this runway. Which one is this? 26? Yeah, I should have selected 26. I think I'm on 35. Okay. But yeah, this is... Man, that is so cool. Okay. Let me get on back here. Let's get inside the plane and let's turn off active pause so we can get moving here. Double check where I'm going. Up to Millinocket. There was one thing I wanted to try to do if it's not too far out of the way, but I gotta try to remember where it is in relation to Augusta. Often when you're looking at a map of Maine, the amount of lakes kind of helps you navigate just by the shape. So, like, I'm pretty sure this is China Lake right here. I'm pretty sure. Which means Palermo, which is where I used to live. Is it that one? Is it that? Like, now I have to look it up. Now I have to look it up. Basically, I wanted to do a detour on the way there if it wasn't too far out of the way to fly by where I used to live. One of the few places I've lived in Maine, but the other two I don't think you'd be able to see very well. They'd be underneath trees. Okay, so that is Sheepscot Pond, which means that the old house should be right around in this area. Should be right around in there. Is there any way for me to set a waypoint in this game? That's my one question. I don't know that there is. There must be. There must be some way to do something. If not, I mean, I'll just keep the VFR map open. I'll just point myself in that direction. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll just point myself over there. It's actually not that far away. That should be like maybe 6 minutes or so to get there. Just head almost straight east. Okay. Cruise altitude for this flight was set to, at least when I was planning the flight, set to 7,100 feet. I'm definitely not going to go that high because I don't see any reason to, really. When I did my 2 training flights, we stayed at about 3,000 feet, if I remember correctly. Okay, for the assists, let me actually just remind myself real quick what I've got going here. I think just about everything, every assist is turned off except for everything involving ATC and the checklist, which is why I started on the runway instead of at the gate. I'm just automating all of this right now. That's the aircraft system stuff is a little more, it's a little too deep in the weeds, I think, from where I'm at right now. Engine failure, stuff like that, I don't have that enabled right now. Markers enabled? Yeah, okay. So most of the assists are off. It's just ATC and the checklist to actually get the plane moving. Okay. I think that we are ready to go. Once I release the parking brake. And I think, I feel like my controller has a little bit of drift on the left trigger somehow, which is not something I've ever had before with a controller, but it constantly wants to pull me to the left here. Yeah, I don't need that. Okay. I wonder, I'm trying to remember where actual Augusta is in relation to the airport. I think it's right in front of me. Maybe not. Let's keep climbing.
Portland approach Mainer 1120 is type Cessna 152 1 miles northwest of Kilo Alpha Uniform Golf. Request flight following. Mainer 1120 Portland approach.
That's pretty cool that they actually read off my call sign. I didn't expect that.
Squawk 1112 Mainer 1120. Mainer 1120 radar contact 2 miles north of Kilo Alpha Uniform Golf 1,100 feet. Altimeter 29.902. Copy Mainer 1120.
Okay. Well, I'm still going up, sitting at about 1,500 feet. Swinging around here. Don't remember what store that is down there, or if it's a. Is that the hospital? Is it? I don't think so. I like to stay in cockpit as much as I can, but I'm going to cheat for a second here and pop into third person. Just so I can take a look at Augusta here and probably completely screw up my angle of attack, but that's alright. Yeah, let's actually get this. Get that straightened out there. Okay, yeah, this is right down here is Augusta proper. This is what I've been looking for. That is Augusta. And that is a cloud. What are we at, 3,000 now? Yeah. Go ahead and level it off right here. I'm gonna pop into third person one more time after I get my trim focused here. Okay. Let's take another look at this. There's that roundabout down there. I've been around that so many times. Another one right up here. That might be the Capitol building, I think. Awesome. All right. Let's bring it back around, and I'm going to make a beeline right for Palermo. I don't think it'll take long to get there. Almost got the right heading. Right about... almost there. Right about there. Right about there. Yeah, this is just, it's so amazing. Like, I remember, a lot of Maine looks like this. It's a pretty, like, foresty state, with a lot of lakes, so... You know, like in terms of geography, like this isn't the most unique place in Maine. But what I was going to say is, first of all, always forget to do that. What I was going to say is I remember being in this airspace. I remember seeing, you know, the river coming across here. These lakes off to the side, more lakes over there. And both times that I flew it, it pretty much looked like this in terms of weather. I want to say one of the flights may have been clear skies and one of them cloudy. I don't remember details quite that fine, but yeah, and we were right around 3,000 feet or so. I actually have a picture that I took of the dashboard when we were in flight that I looked at this morning or yesterday morning that showed us at around 3,000 feet. I was wondering, the game wants me to go to 7,000 feet, and I that just seems intense. Like, I don't know if that's like some kind of regulation. Like, you have to be at 7,000 feet, or where you get in trouble. I have no idea. That's one of those things that I'm kind of learning piecemeal as I go through this game, is just figuring out, like, you know, what is acceptable and what isn't. Because the game doesn't penalize you for anything. It doesn't really give you a lot of feedback in terms of whether or not you're doing something that you would be fined for in real life, or potentially lose your pilot's license. But yeah, like I said, during those lessons we were at 3,000 feet, so obviously I'm at an acceptable altitude. At least that's what it seems like to me. Is that... Get a look at this out here. I can't tell if that's like a... Oh, you know what that might be? That might be the, it might be the Windsor Fairgrounds. I think it's Windsor. This is like a horse racing track. Equestrian track, whatever they're called. I think this totally is. This is where all the parking happens, and then they have a bunch of like food stands here, like typical fair stuff. If that is what I'm looking at, I'm like 90% certain that is what I'm looking at. I've actually ridden my bike through here a lot. Yeah, I recognize this intersection right here. If you go right here, it's a very long straight that takes you all the way to Augusta. Swing back around now. So trying to get a good view of the house might be a little bit tricky. I'm gonna try to get pretty low to the ground, within reason. But I might only be able to make one good pass at it, unless I want to swing back around and do another one. That is, of course, if I can find it quickly. Shouldn't be too hard. It's pretty noticeable, but you never know. We are getting pretty close now. The island that Cards Against Humanity bought a few years ago and named Hawaii 2 is actually on this lake right here, and I believe it's actually this island. That little guy right there. That's Hawaii 2. Okay, so that is Sheepscot. I'm going to try to keep Palermo to my left so I can see it. I might end up popping back into third person again. Be interesting to see if...
1120 contact Bangor approach on 118.925.
I'm not flying to you, Bangor. I'm nowhere close to you.
118.925.
Relax.
1120.
I'm like not even in your airspace yet.
1120,
Yeah, you're all the way up there, man. Calm yourself.
120 Bangor approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
That's the thing about having the AI handle the ATC communications is they obviously they don't know your intentions, so they'll kind of just contact airports for you out of nowhere. Or the towers will contact you. Again, probably something that happens in real life. I'm not a pilot. Okay, this might be a little challenging, especially with the cloud cover that I gave myself here. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm actually gonna throttle back just a little bit. Maybe not that much. I don't recognize this. Oh, this might be harder than I thought. I'm gonna pop into the chase cam here. Is this the road? This might be the road. Okay, I know where I am. So I've been to the top of this hill right here, which means, where does that come out though? That's, if it's the one I'm thinking of. No, I think this might be the hill that I've been to the top of. This one right here. Is it? No. Is... Oh, I think I know where I'm looking. I think I know what I'm looking at. I've said that a few times already, but it might be. So it turns right. This, third time's the charm. This might actually be the little hill that I was talking about that I've been to the top of, which means, yeah, then there's a little beach down here. That right there is Hawaii too. Alright, so I'm going to work backwards. I know where I am right now. I'm going to work backwards. That is St. George Lake. I think they call it a state park, but I've been kayaking out of here. So this This is that gas station. This is Lori's restaurant. This little building right there, that's Lori's. I've parked my car here a lot of times and gone running down this road. It's about a mile to that point right there, roughly. From that gas station to the end of the road there. Okay, so we come down Route 3. This is Route 3. I'm going to throttle down just a little bit more. Hopefully, I don't get myself into trouble here. Yeah, we're right at... Well, it's still going down, but we should be good. Alright, so Route 3 comes around. Do I want to say this might be the road? Because I've been wrong a few times now, but this might be the road. Yeah, it goes downhill, so we're gonna say this is the road right here. Oh yeah, we got it. So this is the intersection. I would go this way to go to work when I worked in Rockland. I think I see the house. So you come down. Yeah, I see it. Come around the turn here, and there's a big... You can't really tell from here, but there's a pretty big uphill stretch right here. And then the house is... this one? Yeah. Yeah, that one right there. That's the one. So here's something interesting. Let me swing back around. Before we lived there, they had a garage that was placed closer to the field than where it currently is right now, which is closer to the road. And it looked like both of those were in here, which is interesting. I'm not sure if when this data was collected, like maybe both of them were still standing, like they hadn't torn that first one down yet. But I feel like they probably would have torn it down right here. Try to zoom in on it. Yeah, so this one isn't here anymore. This one is. And they definitely used like a generic house model because it does not look anything like that house. But that is the house. And that's the field in the back there. Ah! Oh, that is so cool. That is just amazing. Okay. Curiosity has been satisfied. Now we have a destination to get to, and that is Millinocket Municipal Airport. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this back up. See if we can get ourselves back to 3,000 feet. I need to fix my trim there. should be able to see the mountain. I'm going to say probably around this point right here. We should be able to see Mount Katahdin from right around there, off in the distance. I went to school at the University of Maine, which is... Oh, you can land there! No kidding! I could totally land at the, I mean, the university is right here. And this is Old Town, so it's not... This isn't the school, but... I could totally land right by the university there. So, what I was saying was, I climbed a mountain. It's really more of a hill, but whatever. I climbed a mountain that was right around this area, and you could see Mount Katahdin from here. So, you know, about 60% of the way there, we should be able to see it. Let's get to 3,000 feet, then I'm going to level this thing off. Although, since we're heading this way, I may as well do a flyover of the University of Maine. It's in the flight path, so no reason not to. Find the old dorm that I stayed in, the two that I stayed in. A little too far on the trim there. That should be good. Oh, wants to pitch up again. Bring it back down. No. Got to be very granular with this, the pitch trim. Mostly on the money there. Mostly. Yeah. I can live with that. Climbing a little bit, but that's fine. Let's hop out of the cockpit for a bit. Take a look around. I'm trying to remember what exactly is between Palermo and Bangor. At least, like, along this path right here. And I'm not all that certain that I really know what's between here. At least things that I'd be able to identify from the air. Just a lot of really small villages. Townships. Yeah, I was just kidding. Bangor Tower, I actually totally am heading towards you right now. Absolutely going to be in your airspace for sure. 100%. Not landing though. Maine really is just trees everywhere you look. It's just trees, man. Trees and lakes. I'm glad I chose the few clouds option because this looks really cool. Just seeing these clouds scattered around and the shadows underneath them. That's amazing. Yes, so in terms of performance, it really varies quite a bit. Like, when I was doing this pan just now, I don't know if you could tell in the video, but it was chugging a little bit. But right now, like, it's fine, you know? I think there's so much that this game is generating, and so much data that's coming into it at any given time. Like, it's not surprising that it happens. But it definitely makes it kind of confusing trying to figure out, you know, do I need to turn down a setting to maybe solve the chugging, or is that just the nature of this game and it trying to handle all of this information on the terrain and the weather, and this being a PC that is not from 2035 when this game was like probably meant to be played. Yeah, this guy just opened up ahead of us. Look at that. Gotta grab a screenshot of this right here. Get some of that chugging again. Now it's smooth. Forgot to hit my stopwatch. Oh, I have a hard time remembering to do that. This panel is pretty cool. You can actually adjust the weather while you're flying. Just completely change the conditions to whatever you want. I can make it snow right now. That's kind of awesome. Zoom in a little bit here. Oh. Okay. You can really see the just how granular the movement is in these planes. Let's go back inside for a bit.
Major 1120, contact Bangor approach on 124.5.
124.5.
124.5 for Manor 1120. Bangor approach Manor 1120, 4,000 feet. Manor 1120, Bangor approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn the just how the whole world of air traffic control even works. I like having this chat log so I can just follow along with what everyone is saying, trying to get somewhat of a sense for any of it. So it looks like the Bangor Tower is basically telling me to contact them on the specified frequencies if they need to give me any information about crossing into the airspace, anything like that. I'm guessing that's probably what that exchange is about. Still learning it myself. I don't actually know what that one is. So I'm looking for the school, which is going to be right past the university. What do we got over there? Oh. Miller's Field. You know, I don't know what that is.
Bangor approach Manor 1120. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Okay, yeah, so now my co-pilot is requesting clearance to fly over them.
Approach. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Cleared through Charlie airspace Manor 1120.
Whatever, like, AI they're using to read off that stuff is pretty amazing. Like, it sounds convincing, you know? sounds way less robotic than you might expect it to sound. Miller's Field. Now I'm curious what that even is. Miller's Field. Miller's Field, Maine. Vintage wings. Oh, interesting. I think this is aerial and aviation photography. You're just full on in a cloud right now. Aerial and aviation photography mapping services flight instructions. So it's some kind of it's related to aviation. That's really cool. Let's pop back out into the chase cam, see if I can see or no yet. That looks like an airport right ahead of me. That's Bangor. This is, this would be I-95 then. And this is the whole shopping, whatever you want to call it. The whole commercial area of Bangor. That's where you get your Walmarts and your Targets and all that good stuff. Chugging, chugging, chugging. Oh, come on. You got this. It doesn't like being outside the airplane. Way too much that it has to load in when you're outside the airplane. So I can't seem to find Bangor International. I can't seem to find where Orono is. I don't know if it's just in shadow right now. It should be right ahead of me. We'll see it when we get there. Some kind of oval track down here. I don't know that I'm familiar with that. Oh, there's Brewer. I've been there a couple times. Oh man, it does not like being outside the plane. Not one bit. Might try to play with some settings after this flight just to see if I can help it out a little bit when it comes to the out-of-plane chugging. Yeah, I am not familiar with that. I don't know what that is. Try to stay at least a little bit out of the immediate airspace. I think I might see it up there. Sweet, I didn't realize it was that far away, if that's where it is. Oh, you know what? Okay. Okay, I think... I'm not as familiar with this area of Bangor. The one I'm more familiar with is right up here. This is the, this is where a lot of those stores are. That's actually the mall right there. That's the mall. That makes sense then. So the university is this patch right here, this island. Somewhere in here, I think, is a really nice bagel place. So, mall. This right here, I think, is the Bull Moose. It's like a record store, but they also have books and movies and stuff like that. This building right here, I believe, is the Olive Garden. This is the Dunkin' Donuts for sure. I know there is, or there used to be, a like Army recruiting center in that building right there. But I've taken this road a lot to get to and from Bangor from the university. Which is now coming into view. It's blurry, but I'm sure the game will chug it into place once we get a little bit closer. It's so cool that I can land at Old Town, man. This would be
1120, contact Bangor approach on 118.902.
118.902.
118.902 Mainer 1120. Bangor approach Mainer 1120, 3,900 feet. Mainer 1120 Bangor approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
So I wonder if that communication is us leaving this airspace right here. I'm still trying to learn what each of these sort of colored borders mean. I assume they relate to airspace. That's the university right there. That might be a high school. I don't... It's probably a high school or something right there. I'm not super familiar with Orono itself. So it's still a little bit blurry, and these buildings are not going to be visually accurate. Location and size certainly accurate, but let's see if I can get a good shot of it here. The dorm that I stayed in freshman year is this one right here. The dorm that I stayed in my junior year is this guy right here. This is the building that I ate in. This is the dining hall. junior year. Freshman year, it was, I believe, this one or that one of those two. I did a lot of running around this campus. I like to do laps around this parking lot, and I also like to go around this parking lot too. This is the gym right here. That's the gym. Football stadium. You can kind of see the limitations of some of the tech involved in this game, because there's a building in the middle of the football stadium. Not actually there in real life. Not at all. There's not a building in the football field. But that is the University of Maine. And this would be Old Town up here, and that airport. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that airport. I wonder if... I'm trying to remember if there's any kind of aviation out of the University of Maine. Maybe there is? I don't remember. I assume if there is, they probably use this airport. But... I'm not entirely sure. And the amount of time I spent at the University of Maine, I don't think I ever once went to Old Town right here. Not a single time. Not once. Okay. For the most part, that does it for things that I recognize on this flight path. I'm not going to be able to point out a whole lot between here and Millinocket, because I've not spent a lot of time exploring this area. Also, at some point, it kind of just becomes a wilderness up here. So, really, it's just... like Millinocket is the next stop. I'm going to set the controller down. I do have a little bit of drift on the analog stick, so when I set it down, it tends to... the plane wants to roll a little bit to the right. You can kind of see it there. It wants to turn to the right. Yeah. So I gotta keep one hand on it. And I said we should expect to start seeing the mountain from this distance, but I got clouds in front of me, so... looks like we might be just a bit limited by the draw distance. So it might not come into view for just a little bit longer. What did he tell me? Was it 299? 5.2. Okay. Very, very easygoing skies on this one. Controller drift taking me a little bit off course. Lazy 8s. Recommended entry speed 95. Still trying to... I'm just staring at these two dials, trying to figure out what exactly they do. As I lose control of the plane. I'll have to look that up later. Got nothing yet. I'm trying to think of what this airport would be, but it's not ringing any bells. Yeah, I'm not sure. Buzzport. Buzzport. I gotta look up what Buzzport is. That is definitely not familiar. Buzzport. There's a thing about it on funplacestofly.com. Buzzport. So it's an airport, I think. It's a grass runway. Air nav. Yeah, it's a private airport. Or a private runway. I wonder if I can land on it in this game. Where did it go? Is it right there? Oh yeah, look at that. It's a long stretch of grass. I wonder how one just gets a private runway. Like if I cut down a bunch of trees, can I just be like, hey, this is a runway now? Call the FAA. Is that how that works? Buzzport. I think we're right above I-95 again. Let's take another mountain peak, see if I can find it in the distance. That might be it. Or I might be pointed straight at it, so it might be behind this cloud right here. I'm going to remind myself as to the summit height of Mount Katahdin, because I do not remember. 5,269 feet or 1,606 meters. Bye. Boston Center.
124.25 for Mainer 1120. Boston Center Mainer 1120, 3,400 feet. Mainer 1120 Boston Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.92.
So I wonder why, Boston Center is reaching out. Oh, okay. So it's actually located in New Hampshire. And they cover Connecticut, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire, New York, and Pennsylvania, northeast Pennsylvania. There's a lot to learn. It really is. There's so much.
Cargo Jet 619er, descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Yeah, I would have been very confused if I was actually piloting this. With all of the knowledge that I have about aviation, and all of a sudden someone from Boston comes over the radio and asks me to contact them and be like, what? Why? I'm all the way up here. What do you want with me? Looking one more time at the location of Mount Katahdin relative to the lakes up here.
Cargo Jet 619er, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
I wonder if that's another player or...
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Cargo Jet 619er.
Cargo Jet 619er is not listening to you, buddy. He's on his own mission. He's got things to do. People to see and places to go. Ah, okay. I forgot I could do this. So I think this is the mountain, so it's a little bit past the airport. Yeah, we're getting there.
Cargo Jet 619er, contact Boston Center on 120.25. Going to 120.25, Cargo Jet 619er.
This is a pretty cool break in the clouds right here. Surprised that we haven't had any communication with Millinocket yet. Maybe that's what this border is for. I bet as soon as we cross that, they'll reach out to us, or my co-pilot will reach out to them. It's a little bumpy. Just a little bit bumpy up north here. so I'm guessing right here. I think that's it right there. What I should have done, and I might still be able to do it, is just stay out of the airspace. I'll actually just swing around it. That's where we're gonna be landing, somewhere out there. Oh, we've got business first. I don't remember if I ever knew what these mountains are off to the southwest of Mount Katahdin. That's the one right there, peeking through the clouds. It's officially in sight, or it was. It kind of is. It's kind of officially in sight. Interesting blue streak across the terrain there. Not sure what that's all about. That's it right there. That's the mountain. It's actually going to be a little bit higher. The summit is going to be a little bit higher than where we're at right now, which is cool. See if I can find that plane that's right to my 2 o'clock. Must be way up there. I can't see him at all. Oh, nope, I found him right there. The blinking light. Right there. Yeah. That was him. There's like a perfectly placed cloud right in the way. There he is again. I don't think my little Cessna goes quite that high. See the summit peeking through again. If I remember correctly, the photograph that you see in my Twitch banner, YouTube banner, and Twitter banner is a photo that I took of, I believe, this side of the mountain from about halfway up. And that was during the summit attempt back in 2018. It'll become a lot clearer as I get closer. There was it's actually like a lake halfway up the mountain. It'll be interesting to see if I can find it here in the game. I should be able to. Who knows what it'll look like, but there's, I guess it's more of a pond. There's like a pond halfway up the mountain. It's very picturesque. Looks like we're about to get a clear view once I get past this cloud right here. think that might be the lake that so basically during this trip I drove up the day before the hike with my nephew Andrew and one of my buddies James, and we had booked a camping spot for the night that I think was on this lake. Should be like right about there on that side of the lake. I think it was that one. It should be that one, yeah. That is Mount Katahdin. So I'm going to cheat here, just to get the absolute best view of the sky. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all the clouds. Or, not of the sky, of the mountain. Just get rid of all the clouds. Snap of a finger. I'm going to try my hardest not to crash into the side of Mount Katahdin with my Cessna 152. I know it'll be very challenging. Trying to decide if I want to bump up the elevation, or not the elevation, if I want to get myself above 5,600 feet so I can summit the mountain in this airplane. Move up just a little bit. I'm starting to think that the pond might actually be on the other side. No, actually, yeah, I think so, because it kind of... It's almost like a bowl in a weird way. It kind of curves around. Like, this is the side of the mountain that I see the most in my own life. The few times that I have actually laid eyes on it, just because I've never lived north of the mountain. I've always lived back here, south of it. So this is the side that I always see. But the other side of it, it almost looks weirdly like a volcano of sorts. It's got kind of like a Mount St. Helens thing going on, if I remember correctly. Let's find out. Yeah, so we've actually gone up to 4,300 feet here. You know, let's keep it level.
1120, contact Boston Center on 120.25.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Going to 120.25 Mainer 1120.
What can I do for you, Boston?
Boston Center Mainer 1120, 4,300 feet. Commutair 4948 descend and maintain 3,100 feet.
That's not me.
Mainer 1120 Boston Center, continue as planned.
Continuing.
Altimeter 29.902. Descend and maintain 3,100 feet, commutair 4948.
So you can kind of start to see what I mean by it being kind of a bowl. And that right there might actually be the lake that I took the picture at. I think I was standing right there, and I grabbed a shot of this right here. Yeah, so it looks a little gnarly in this game. You know, satellite imagery. But man, that is just so cool to see. Yeah, so I would have been standing, or was it over there? I see another body of water up there. It might have been. I was either standing down here, and I took a shot. Let's just zoom all the way out. I was either standing down here, and I took a shot of this, or I was up here, and I took a shot of that photograph in my Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. All that good stuff. I can't remember which one it was. Or it was that one. Or it was that one. I think that actually might be where I turned back. It was one of these. I remember I turned back. I took a picture at one of the ponds, and then I made it to like the next one up, and that's when I turned back. Because I had severely underestimated or overestimated my own fitness at the time. Let's see if I can get over top of this thing. We're already here, you know?
Morningstar 7054 descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
If I can get enough lift.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Morningstar 7054. Jazz 8506 descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000
One of these stretches is called the Knife's Edge. I think it's this one right here. It's a really cool stretch of it's basically all bouldering at this point up here that I wish I could have done, but next time for sure. Oh, no way. You can actually see the little there's like a little hut. So I think I think that is the lake that I turned around on, because there's like a park ranger's hut down there. You could just barely see it. Just barely. Man. Hey, well, we did it. We made it to the mountain. There's only one thing left to do now, and that is to land this aircraft. I'm going to try to enter some approximation of a flight pattern just to practice the motions. I only have like a somewhat vague understanding of what that entails. I know it kind of varies by airport, and also whatever the current wind direction is. It's also possible that KMLT will tell me to just take it straight in which case I'll just take it straight in. But just a little ways to go. One thing that I noticed that's kind of interesting is I don't think the trees are quite to scale, because when I looked at the side of the mountain, I feel like it's a lot bigger in real life than what it appeared to be just looking at the trees on the side of the mountain in the game. Like when I look down here, you know, like this looks pretty realistic in terms of the density of trees, but there was something about the way the trees went up the side of the mountain specifically that looked like there should be 10 times more of them there. Just a little thing. That would have really sucked if I found out just now that I had the flaps hit 32%. Is there a hotkey for that? Scroll lock. Alright, that's good to know. So, depending on which runway they tell me to go to, if they don't tell me to come straight in, which I guess even if they do tell me to come straight in, like I'll probably just practice the flight pattern anyway. But if it's this runway, and I come in from this side, oh, that means that I would want to enter the traffic pattern this way. I would come in, enter the downwind leg, go to the base, final approach, and land. If I'm landing this way, I would approach from this angle If it's this runway, I'm going to hit it. From this angle, come in, sweep down. Yeah, we'll see. Getting a little off course now. I should be hearing from them pretty soon. If this line is any indication. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring myself down to about 3,000 feet. Dial back just a little bit. Gonna still kind of trying to understand the yoke process. If you're supposed to like adjust it when you go to do a descent or not, it's still a little bit unclear to me. Don't see the runway just yet. Getting some chug action. Inside the cockpit this time. Let's go down a little bit more. I did a little reading this morning, specifically about flight patterns, and the general idea that I got is that you want to be in a flight pattern at about 1,000 feet. So I'd like to get closer to that before I actually have to do the actual thing. I do not see this airport ahead of me. Oh, right there. Okay. A little bit closer than I thought I was. So I'm going to dial back a little bit more. Maybe give it a little flaps too. And I have not heard anything from the tower. I wonder if this airport just doesn't have a tower. Like, see if I can contact them manually. Select a runway. I'm just gonna talk to them myself.
Kilo Mike Lima Tango traffic Mainer 1120 3 miles north 2,600 feet inbound to land runway 16.
Kilo Oscar Whiskey Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind 283. Visibility niner.
So okay, hold on.
Temperature 14 dew point.
I missed the weather report. Give me the weather report again. Let's try to figure out where the downwind leg is.
Kilo Oscar Whiskey Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind 283. Visibility, niter. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 14C dew point. 13C altimeter 2, niter 2.
Yeah, I still didn't understand.
Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind, 288 at 3. Visibility,
2,
niter.
8.
Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 14C dew point. 13C altimeter 2, niter 2. Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300. Kilo Mike Lima Tango automated
Kilo
weather
Mike Lima
observation
Tango, traffic
1200.
Ah!
1201 miles northeast, 1,000
288 at 3.
runway
Sky
16.
condition. Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind,
I need
288 at
you
3. Visibility, niter. Sky
to
condition, clear. Temperature,
stop
14C dew point.
giving
13C
me
altimeter 2, niter 2.
the weather.
Kilo
Good.
Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300.
Oh, no, I got it. It's okay. I got it.
Visibility, niter. Sky condition, clear.
What's
14C dew point. 13C altimeter
what
2,
frequency are they on right now? 133.225.
Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather
I'm not even on the frequency. They're just in my head now. Just
Visibility, niter. Sky condition, clear.
can't even shut my radio off.
Temperature, 14C dew
Unless
point. 13C altimeter 2, niter 2. Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind, 288 at 3. Visibility, niter. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 14C dew point.
Oh.
Kilo Oscar Whiskey,
No!
Kilo automated
Shut
weather-
up!
Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu.
This is just my life now. It's just listening to the weather out of Millinocket Municipal Airport.
Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 14C dew point. 13C altimeter.
This is how I live now.
2.
Just listening to this over and over again.
Kilo Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind, 288 at 3. Visibility.
Where
niter.
is 16?
Clear.
You guys even have a runway 16?
13C altimeter 2, niter 2.
Right there. That's the one, right?
Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind, 288 at 3.
That looks like a 1.6 to me.
Niter. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 14C dew point. 13C altimeter 2, niter 2. Kilo
Okay.
Oscar Whiskey, Kilo automated weather observation 1300 Zulu.
I have to.
Wind, 288 at 3. Visibility, niter. Sky.
I have to. I cannot focus on this landing if I'm getting the constant weather report. Master voices. So here's something you never want to do in a real aircraft is shut off air traffic control. That's what I'm going to do. Hopefully this applies to the weather. You hear that? You don't hear it? Good. Good. Okay. Yeah, there's like no tower in this place that is talking to me at all, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bank to the right. I'm gonna ease up on the flaps, get my power going just a little bit more here. I'm gonna bring it around and I'm gonna go in for a straight landing. Just gonna bring it home. We're sitting just above, yeah, just above 1,100 feet. Reduce airspeed, yeah. Yes, I will. I will do that. Bring the throttle down. Reestablish visual contact with the airport, which I can no longer see again. Ha! There it is. Okay. Throttle all the way down. Because I did not realize it was right there. Now, you know what? We're going to have another go at it. We're going to have another go at it. I'm not happy with that approach. Not at all. So in that case... just ease up on the throttle. So in that case, I am going to do a traffic pattern. Fly right over the top. Then I'm going to... since there's a runway to my left, I'm going to cut to the right. Once I get back to 1,000 feet. Do the crosswind bank right now. Okay. When I go for my base leg, base turn, base leg, I'm gonna drop the throttle down to like 50% or so. I'll give it like 30% flaps. Just enough to start braking the airplane a little bit. But not so much that we stall during the turn. Give myself plenty of space here. The tutorial said to wait until the airport's at about a 45-degree angle to the rear of the plane, so but I'm going to give it just a little bit more than that. That should be good enough. Start doing my turn now. Not going to go too crazy here. Stick with 83. I can slow down a lot more once I'm on the final approach. Just want to make sure I'm lined up with the runway. Okay. There it is. So let's bring it down. Let's bring it all the way down to idle. And we'll go full flaps. I like what the tutorial said about keeping the threshold of the runway in view, right above the dash here. I was watching some videos, and I guess a lot of instructors will teach this part differently. It kind of depends on the runway that you're... the impression that I get is it depends on the runway that you're learning how to fly at, if it's long or short. But generally speaking... just keep it in view, and then I'm going to get my hand on the brake. And once you cross the threshold, you can start to pull it up. Just soften the slope. That's how I like to think of it. That is a landing. I hope that wasn't the only taxiway. It's possible that was the only taxiway, the only exit off the runway. Yeah, that was the only way off the runway. I missed it. So, I would definitely get in trouble for doing this, I imagine, but we're gonna just we're gonna just spin it right around. Spin it right around. U-turn. Request takeoff clearance. Yeah, I don't need that. I ain't going anywhere except for the gate. Still got that left rudder drift that drives me crazy. Problem is they're not giving me taxiing to run. No, I'm not. I'm taxiing off of runway 16. Yeah, I think once I passed the exit here, I kind of assumed that I was leaving, but I'm not. Let's park it over here. Oh. I ain't taking off. I'm not taking off. No, throttle down, throttle down. It's good that you're leaving the forklift right there, buddy. I like that. It's a good spot for it. Just keep it right there. What is this guy doing? Clearly I'm going left. Clearly I'm going left. Okay. Somebody would, without a doubt, be upset about something that's going down at this airport right now. I'm just going to park it. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it home right here. And stop. Stop, stop, stop. That's a flight. That is a flight. Mount Katahdin off in the distance there. Let's shut this thing down. Oops. That's gonna do it for this this flight. Man, this game is just, it's hard to put into words how amazing it is to just fly in this game. I mean, especially over areas that you recognize too. Like, I haven't done a whole lot of flying yet over parts of the world that I don't recognize. I spent most of my time here, just flying around Maine and pointing out, like, trying to locate towns and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just speechless, absolutely speechless. And for some reason, it's not like ending the flight, which it usually does when I shut the engine off. I guess I'm just stuck in Millinocket now. I guess I just live here now. This is my home. All right. Thanks for watching.